Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is Black Hole Spot Connection with my review of Spider-Man Far From Home. So, Spider-Man Far From Home, or as I like to think of it, Spider-Man Class Trip. It's basically what happens when Peter Parker goes on a summer trip with his class and Nick Fury hijacks it. Because, you know, Nick Fury does that kind of stuff. No, really, he does. So, quick takes. It's not the best MCU or Spidey movie, but it's certainly not the worst. But I mean, it's not great, but it's still fun. So, you know, there's that, right? So I count for something. So, the cast of note. We've got Tom Holland as Peter Parker, and, of course, the amazing, sensational, spectacular, from the neighborhood Spider-Man. He's been to space. He was a protege of the late Tony Stark. He is an Avenger. But yeah, still also, you know, a teenager. Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, who is the spy. Former director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Initially brought together the Avengers. It's a pretty good idea about proper decorum when it comes to funerals and, you know, meeting new people. Next up, we got Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, or Quentin Beck. Last survivor of a now doomed Earth. Or is he? Kobe Smulders as Maria Hill, Nick Fury's right hand. Former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Or, well, I guess probably back to being, I don't know, I think maybe he's kind of agent. Yeah. I don't think it's ever... I'm behind on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so maybe it has been explained. I don't know. Anyway, Marissa Tomei as May Parker, Peter Parker's aunt, who has apparently had an interesting experience when she was snapped back. She's actually unlike her comic counterpart was for a while. She's actually, this version of May is supportive of her nephew's life as a superhero. Got Jon Favreau returning as Happy Hogan, former bodyguard and chauffeur and close friend of Tony Stark. Becoming friends more and more becoming friends with Peter Parker as well as Aunt May. And finally got Zendaya. Oh, no, not finally. Next up we've got Zendaya as MJ. Classmate of Peter's and the object of his unrequited affections. Jacob Batalon returns as Ned Leeds. Peter Parker's best friend who enjoys video games, especially Beast Slayer. Planning to visit Europe as a young American bachelor. Tony Revolori as Flash Thompson. Classmate of Peter Parker, so he tends to be fairly antagonistic towards Parker. Doesn't really think too highly of Parker. Not that. However, he thinks Spider-Man is the best. Next up, we got our spoiler-free breakdown. So, the movie kicks off in Mexico with Fury and Hill showing up to investigate a devastated town, where everyone said, it's claimed that it was some kind of natural disaster that occurred, but there were people claiming that it had a face. While they're there, they meet Mysterio. In New York, Peter Parker is attending a charity function at a homeless shelter as Spider-Man, where Aunt May is presenting a large donation when he's called by Fury, who Peter sends the voicemail. Over the next few days, Peter prepares for his trip to Europe and continues to send Peter a voicemail. After arriving in Venice, a large water creature attacks the city and is held off by Mysterio while Peter does what he can to minimize property damage. That night, Peter is, shall we say, visited by Nick Fury, who introduces Peter to Mysterio, as well as Fury's own support crew. Mysterio explains about the elementals, what they did to his Earth. The next day, The chaperones of the trip, Mr. Harrington and Mr. Bell, inform the students that the trip has been upgraded, which means they're going to Prague next. Which is exactly where Mysterio stated that the next elemental is going to appear. In Prague, Mysterio and Spider-Man fight the fire elemental. However, afterwards, Peter discovers maybe things aren't as they seem with Mysterio. Which leads to Peter having to go all over Europe to get get the information he has to Nick Fury. This includes him calling on Happy Hogan to help, basically to pick him up in the Netherlands. Now, on the jet, there's a means of making a Spidey suit. So Peter designs a new one and comes up specialized, two specific specifications that really does not work in my head, but yeah. But he goes to London to face a new threat, as well as save his friends. There is a mid-credit scene, and there is a post-credit scene. I'm not sure which of those two I like better. But to be perfectly honest, at least, no. The mid-credit scene I like the most, and it was probably my favorite part of the movie. Or at least one of my favorite parts. Anyway, so the ups and downs of the movie. The primary cast is good. Tom Holland, Samuel L. Jackson, Jake Gyllenhaal in particular. Everyone does well with what they've got. I'll put it that way. But the real focus is on those specific characters. There's actually some really good moments showing, when Thanos snapped his fingers and when everything got unsnapped. Which actually does make for a rather amusing moment in particular. There's one moment in particular that's rather amusing about it. It was good seeing how the world changed between Infinity War and Endgame, and not just the support group. And to be perfectly honest, Endgame was not the place for that. Endgame was about undoing what Thanos had done, not the consequence, not what happened, what it led to. Good visual effects as always. I mean, when you've got Disney money, you kind of, if your effects are bad, either they're supposed to look that way, or there's a problem. The story is just kind of meh. I mean, I love the fact that most Marvel movies are a particular type of movie with superheroes thrown in. This one, it's like a teen senior trip movie, teen trip to Europe, teen movie where they go to, school trip to Europe or trip to, the European trip movie. Oh, and we peppered in some Spider-Man stuff too. But to be perfectly honest, that is what makes it, what makes the MCU work. It's just that those type of movies are just kind of I would have liked some kind of transition scene, some kind of scene, or just some dialogue about how May reacted to learning that Peter was Spider-Man. Like we saw she finds out at the very end of Homecoming, and then we don't see her in Endgame or in Infinity War. We did see her in Endgame. She's at the funeral, but this is the first time we've really seen her, and she just go boom. Okay, yeah, my nephew's Spider-Man. That's that. Let's not think about the fact that, he was in frickin' space and, technically speaking, died for 5 years. But yeah, anyway. Another problem I have with the movie is just that it doesn't feel like it is in the right spot of the phase. This, to me, it works better as being the beginning of phase 4 rather than the end of phase 3. Endgame honestly felt like saying, okay, this is... It was like, oh, no. Endgame's not the end of phase 3. Spider-Man is. Like, but it doesn't feel like an ending, But anyway, overall opinion, it's a mid-grade MCU movie. It's a mid-grade Spider-Man movie. Nothing amazing or spectacular or sensational. It's worth a watch, especially if you are an MCU fan. I would highly recommend seeing it, but more than likely not not so much because of it being a Spider-Man movie, so much as it being part of the overall greater tapestry of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Overall rating, I just got to go with a 3 out of 5. It's a little above average, but not. It's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just being blown away by Endgame the way I was. Is kind of yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's not bad. It's just not great. Alright, so that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put up new content. Hopefully, we'll be doing the comic book roundup tomorrow. As well as a review of Midsummer on Thursday during the day. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal are in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.